That's what we're gonna do.
That's not funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
60% of the time, it works. Every time. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. Be careful, man. There's a beverage here.
I'm ready to
I wanted to talk about too a little bit. We don't have a poll up, but this might be our poll. We're talking about a little bit. Favorite vampire hunter we could do. We want to put up Buffy,
Yeah, that's someone.
Blade.
That's another person.
We wanted to do Van Helsing.
I don't know who that is.
He's the greatest showman on earth.
Oh, the greatest vampire hunter on earth.
And the last one to choose from, Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter.
Oh, so I see Selena from Underworld did not make it.
I guess she's like
She
a vampire.
sucks.
That's the type of movie, by the way, is I'm not like these vampires. I'm going to help.
It's racist.
They're fighting their own kind.
That movie doesn't age well.
Underworld?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watch all of them. They're all on Netflix right now. Man,
Oh,
they're great.
I watched a half. I watched a half of one.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the first two. I tried to rewatch them for this episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I got through a half, and I just was like, I have better movies to watch.
How could you not like Underworld?
Oh, it's easy. I watched it. I was like, this isn't good.
You don't like Bill Nye as Marius? I can't remember his name. Marcus?
Bill Nye fan.
Dude,
On that one.
the best actor vampire. I know Gary Oldman's done it. They've had a lot of good actors vampires. He has to be the best because he had a scene where a guy talks to him like she didn't return, and his response is like a snarl, and it was amazing. He's like, and the guy's like, "Oh fuck, I better shut up." It's like this guy. Give him the Oscar for that. Chomping his teeth at somebody, and they shut up. Oh, he was amazing.
Yeah, he didn't save that movie.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried. I don't think anything was. Maybe like a rewrite.
Dude, anything with werewolves, you're
Redirect.
gonna get me. I know this is a vampire episode, but anything with werewolves, you'll probably hook me.
Well, then you'll love. I know we both love What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
So good.
They're doing a spinoff.
Really?
Yeah. Werewolves is what it's called.
Like We Are Wolves?
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, they're doing a spinoff with the werewolves from.
What We Do in the Shadows, if you guys don't know, is Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok. He also directed some of The Mandalorian. This guy's got big credentials. He did like a documentary series that followed a group of vampires, and it's hilarious. I mean, it's really funny, the movie. And now it's a TV show that's on Hulu. I think they're in their second season.
Yeah, it's not on Hulu. It's on Netflix that they play on Hulu.
Yeah.
So you got to wait for the third season.
It's good, though. It's really funny. They have your favorite vampire on it. All the other ones are typical vampires, but there's one that's an energy-sucking vampire.
He's an energy sucker. He's just that guy at the office that you don't want to talk to because he's so goddamn boring. We all have him. I have him. I won't mention him because he watches.
You know how you
I
are.
can feel him sucking my energy right now.
I can see someone putting a big comment about how it's not them. That'd be funny. Yeah, but he'll just droll on and he'll go, yeah, so you know what's the weird thing is? I found a bunch of lint on the bottom of the cushion of my chair. So I go through all the cushions, right? Lint and lint. I piled it all together and I have all this lint. And then it started to rain outside. And I forgot to get tomatoes. And you're just like, Jesus. And then everyone just dies on the floor. He's probably my favorite part of that series.
He
It's
is
pretty funny.
hilarious. You haven't seen season 2 yet, so I
I
won't talk about who becomes the strongest vampire.
I
ever.
have not. But that's probably my favorite comedy. There's a bunch of good comedies out there with vampires.
There is a bunch. There's
There's
a lot of just different types of vampire movies.
a shit ton. That's what I was saying. The genres, they have vampire hunting movies. They have badass action star movies like Underworld and Blade. They have I'm a vampire, but not like these vampires. I'm a help
Racist ones.
It's like Priest, which is on Netflix, which is almost unwatchable.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's talk about Priest.
You want to get into Priest?
I want to talk about shitty movies, and
Yeah.
this is shitty.
It absolutely is.
So first of all, the action in this movie, garbage, dog
Rough.
shit.
It's pretty rough.
They do the Taken 3 thing where they use cutscenes and do the whole camera.
Yes.
And it's always cutting away to different things. There's a scene in that I cannot tell what the fuck is going on. They're cutting away so much.
Yeah, there's
More than a scene.
Carl Urban's in it, Paul Bettany, who I like, Susie Q's in it. All these people I like and I
Yeah.
think are interesting. God, they couldn't just pull it together. I think the premise wasn't terrible, but I mean, they turned vampires into zombies. when there's even a scene towards the end when the guy goes, "She did the unthinkable. She turned a human into a vampire." I was like, "What? That's how you make vampires." They're from
Apparently
humans.
not.
What do you do? You bite turtles?
So they have cowboys, they have vampires on motorcycles. And
Trains.
they have ninja priests.
Right.
I mean, this is like every 10-year-old's movie just drawn to life. And it looks like a 10-year-old wrote this movie. All those cool things, this still is a pretty unwatchable movie. I hate this.
Yeah, that movie's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I was assuming at the end they're gonna be like, well, what we do with these kids is we give them vampire blood, and then that makes them super strong and super fast. Like, no, they're just that. I was gonna put that as like I'm like a vampire, but not like a vampire. But they set this show up for a sequel so bad, like they're like, everybody's gonna buy into this. That is also a thing that happens in a lot of vampire movies. They set you up for a trilogy, but they can never make the money to make a second one.
Well, you can if you make a good movie. That's all you need to do. They couldn't. Movie just God, it's bad. It's not a good movie. And like you said, I like the actors for the most part.
Yeah,
It's just bad. I'm a big Carl Urban fan.
like Carl Urban.
Loves me some Carl Urban.
He had a scene where he said, "I can smell your blood in your veins" or something like that. Like, I was like, "Oh, that's a good line." And then that was it. I was like, the only line in the movie that I thought was really good. I was like, "Oh shit! All right."
Hey, I was tuned out half the movie. I must have missed it.
You're like, when can this shit end so I can talk about how bad it is on the podcast?
Speaking of another shitty vampire movie, we have John Suggs commenting a lot.
Attaboy.
Absolutely love it. Queen of the Damned.
I like Queen of the Damned.
Like I said, another shitty
I
vampire
like
movie.
Queen of the Damned. And to me, maybe the best soundtrack to a movie. Short
That
of-
soundtrack came out of 2004. Like Disturbed. I bought that soundtrack.
It's dope.
It's a bunch of hard rock songs.
I'm
That's what I
over
like.
it. Dude, him being a rock star.
Don't sing.
And can't you blah, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I liked it. I thought it was good. The first Interview with the Vampire, I mean, maybe the best vampire movie, I
No.
think. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with that one.
You're not wrong. It's a really good movie. I don't think it's the best.
I like Queen of the Damned too. There's a guy named
Don't like it.
Marius, I think. He's like an older one that's a friend of Lestat. Same character that Tom Cruise played, by the way, if you didn't know. And
That someone else almost played. Johnny Depp.
oh, and
Johnny
Interview with the
Depp
Vampire.
almost played that, but he was busy doing Tim Burton movies, probably.
Too busy getting arguments with a future wife that he'll hate her guts forever.
Yeah.
Marius, he's one of these people. I guess you can get typecast to be vampires because he's in this one. He's in Blade as well, and then he's in an offshoot one. I can't remember, but it's like, damn, this guy. They're like, hey man, let me see your credentials. He's like, don't worry, I played a vampire before. They're like, he's in.
That's all you needed to get on Queen of the Damned.
I guess getting typecast as a vampire is pretty. It's not a bad
pretty
thing.
cool.
Yeah. You could be typecast as like a clerk at a store or something.
So this is how much I did not like Queen of the Damned.
Oh no.
And
I like
Priest.
Priest is bad.
Priest was worse.
Priest was rough.
I will watch Twilight over both those movies.
Really?
There's a reason I dressed up as Edward Cullen.
Okay, he's not dressing up. You put your hair up in a Jimmy Neutron style, doesn't make you dressed up.
Not my
That's
fault. Look at this. I'm all pouty.
Oh, here comes the smolder.
I'm not The Rock. I'm not from Tangled.
Yeah, it's Queen of the Damned. I like the soundtrack was good. There are kind of hokey moments about it.
That's another reason. You know a movie's bad when you're like, the soundtrack
Come
is the
on!
shining
Come
point.
on, it's good. No, you said you bought it.
Yeah.
I don't see you
I
buying the
bought
Twilight
soundtrack, not
soundtrack.
the movie.
Oh, well.
And you don't know if I bought that goddamn Twilight soundtrack.
Well,
You don't know. I don't need to buy albums anymore either. Spotify?
let's jump to Twilight. Let's talk about Twilight.
Oh, I thought we talked about enough.
I'll do it very brief. Here's my only problem I have with Twilight. Everything. Now, the second movie we're going to talk about is Van Helsing. No,
I've never admitted this to anybody.
okay.
Anybody. I hated them.
You what?
I hated them.
Twilight movies?
All of them.
Of course.
Actually, I never saw the last two, I think. How many are there? 5? 4? Too many?
Too many.
I remember watching the first 2 or 3. I won't lie, I didn't absolutely hate the first one, but God, it was not good.
I know. It's so funny. So I didn't watch it forever. I was just like, this is not my kind of
Oh,
vampire.
I had to watch it.
I don't want you to fuck me up on something I like.
It's a refill time, bro.
Thanks, buddy. Hook us up.
Not you.
All right. Didn't want to mess with vampires for me. Finally, on Mother's Day, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, my mom goes, hey, so I got a board game, a trivia thing for Twilight. I was like, well, have fun. I go, I've never seen them, so I can't play. She's like, yeah, that's what I want for Mother's Day. I want you to sit down and watch all the movies with me today, and then we're going to play the board game later. I was like, what now? And I did, and I watched all of them. And then we played the goddamn board game.
You won, didn't you?
No, we didn't play it. I know. I was fucking pissed.
I love that board game. Greatest board game ever.
It's the greatest board game. There's no better board game. Take it from me. Build a wall to keep out the vampires. Here's the main problem with Twilight. There's no problem with being a vampire. There's no penalty to being a vampire.
Thank you.
And they're so hard to kill. It's like you have to rip their head off or something.
Yeah, who can't do that?
You gotta rip off a vampire's head? They can go out in the sun?
Yeah, but
fuck.
they shine.
Like a diamond.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
too
right,
shiny.
right?
It's crazy. I know you should have glitter all over you.
I'm not in the sunlight, dipshit.
I'll open a window. You'll
It's dark
sparkle.
out.
It's not.
I turned the sun off.
It doesn't get dark. I had to come in with this makeup on and this costume. Everyone saw. It's not dark.
That made you stop for some ingredients.
Yeah, he did. On the way over to the podcast, he's like, hey, man, can you stop at the store? I was like, motherfucker. Well, dude, we had all week. I could have waited any time. You're like, can you come now dressed like
Maybe
this?
I knew you were dressing up as a vampire. And I was like, I'm going to wait.
Yep, there's some guys there, and they weren't impressed by me.
Or were they?
I don't know. He hit his buddy like this. He's all like that. Well, fuck. I didn't have the cape on.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
I'm going to wear this the rest of the week.
You just look like you have an abusive wife.
I do. That's true.
Did you scare anybody?
I scared a kid. On the way here, stuck in traffic.
Before the
jam.
makeup was on?
Hell, what's changed from scaring children? And we pulled up, and the kid saw me, and he kind of did like a quick double take, look at me, and I just looked back at him. I was like, all right. And I kept looking forward, but he kept like kind of trying to see. And finally, I just like waved at him, and he's kind of freaked out. And then the light turned green, and went, and then I drove away. So I scared children.
Another comment I saw: 30 Days of Night.
Oh yeah, Josh Hartnett, where he
Alaska,
based
small
off
town
of
in
a
Alaska,
comic book. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night and vampires come. So that's a bad combination.
Dude, how smart is that? You move to a place where the sun is always down for like 40 days at a time. It's so smart.
That's genius. Where I'm moving
Those,
to become a vampire.
I think their teeth too were like all like razor sharp nails in their mouth almost. Like they didn't have like two fangs. They had like piranha teeth that were all out.
That's right. That is right. I really like it. Wow.
They made a lot of sequels too.
I enjoyed that movie. They did. I don't know how many.
Josh Hartnett, God rest his soul. I don't know what he's been doing.
He's been doing a lot. Anyway, we're not talking about his other movie.
Oh.
Yeah, he isn't doing
What
it.
about Penny Dreadful where he plays, there's a vampire in it?
I was like, he didn't play the vampire.
I did. I think he's a werewolf or something.
I don't remember what he is in that one. I watched, I think, the first season, and that's about it.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
But 30 Days of Night, I thought that was a good one. Creepy.
Yep.
I watched it when I was younger, not young. I'm turning 30 next month.
Hey, well, congratulations,
I'm
Dirty
really
30.
panicking about. I'm just kidding. I don't care. I thought it was a creepy ass movie, and I really liked it. I watched it again later, and I didn't think it was as creepy, but I was like, this is still a pretty enjoyable movie.
Well, that
Especially comparatively speaking.
especially because that's when your vampires are monsters. You know, Twilight is trying to ruin it. You can live off animal blood. You don't get killed in the sunlight. I eat garlic every day.
The animal blood. Brad Pitt tries that in an interview with the vampires. So.
He doesn't do well.
Well, that's because he can only find rats.
By speaking of that, there's a scene in the movie where Tom Cruise says, if you're in the bottom of a boat for a month, you can survive off of rats. It's not a good living, but you can survive,
Yeah.
which is an exact stab at Dracula, because that's what Dracula did in the book when he's traveling overseas. He'd have to eat rats. So I was like, that's cool. It's a cool little tie-in.
Nice tie-in.
Yeah. Eat some rats. Eat some rats, Louis.
We got the Lost Boys popping up.
Let's go Lost Boys, man. I had not ever seen this movie.
What an idiot.
Seems harsh.
Nope. I say that every week.
All right. Well, anywho, I liked it. Kiefer Sutherland. You have the Coreys are in it.
That's right. Corey Feldman and Corey.
Yeah, those are both of them. You name them both. Who are you? Evil Dead? Are you the guy who can't remember the exact words? And Corey Feldman and Corey.
I remember the exact Corey Feldman.
And Corey.
I already said Feldman.
Oh, the Feldmans.
It's a fun movie.
It is fun.
They moved to a small California town. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Santa Clara.
Thank you. And it's murder capital of the world, which was a real thing. They were dubbed murder capital of the world or whatever.
Is Santa Clara even a real place?
I don't know. I'm
Murder
pretty sure
capital
it
of the world?
That whole thing, that pier and everything, it goes on. Every year they show that movie.
It's not like India or something. It's somewhere in California. I would
Yeah,
assume it's like.
everything shitty happens in California if it's not in Florida.
Oh, by the way, I think that town, they base it off of Santa Cruz, which is that boardwalk that they have, which I've been to 100 times. It's where I was raised. I started watching this, I was like, is this the beach boardwalk? She's like, yeah. And I was like, no way. She's like, yes. So everything they're showing, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, they do. They show that movie every year, like as a fun little free thing. People just go up
On the
pick their
beach?
blanket
Yeah.
and just lay on it and watch that movie.
They do a lot of concerts, which, by the way, they have a sexy saxophone guy with his shirt off solo.
Man, I don't know if I've been through so much lotion.
It was
Drying
so
my
funny.
hands because he was getting me heated.
Oh, what? Dry your hands?
Masturbated.
Okay. God, it was so goddamn funny. His do the saxophone scene. I like they didn't show the vampires there, but they showed the victims like cowering, like and scared.
Okay.
They're ripping the roof off of the cars and shit, flying
Little
around.
cheese ball.
Yeah.
I thought them flying was very cheese ball. But
Well, and then some more of our vampire superstitions. You got to invite a vampire in. They do
or
that.
you can just tear your roof off.
That's a car, not a house, though. You can't.
What if you're living in your car?
It's not a home,
What if he counts that as his home? I don't count my house as a home.
dude.
I count that shit as a piece of garbage.
I had a couple party times where I slept in my car more times that week than in my bed, so it's fair.
Yeah.
It could definitely be that
Just
way.
saying, you gotta be invited in, but apparently if you tear off a roof, you're absolutely fine. I did really like Fright Night for the reason of there is a part, the mom's new boyfriend comes over.
Uh-huh.
The teenage kid opens the door, and the guy just goes, "Aren't you gonna invite me in?" I was like, "Vampire! Vampire! You would have just said something else. You needed the invite. That you're a fucking vampire."
Not only that, like you need it, like for you to say, like, "Hey, would you give me an invitation into your domicile?" You're like, bitch, no one talks that way.
Because he's like, "You must be Max," or whatever his name is. He's like, "Oh, I mean, aren't you at least going to invite me in?" And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I know who you are."
That's the one with McLovin.
That's Fright Night.
Oh, which one are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about Lost Boys still.
You okay? You're talking about the dad that starts dating the mom.
The mom that starts dating the dad.
Yes.
Or the dude.
Yeah, the older guy with the dog
Yeah, the
named
glasses.
Thorns that
Yeah.
attacks her. That was so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I love the Frog brothers that are the kids working at the comic book shop. Here, take this reading material.
That's right.
I pray you don't have to call me. He's like, yeah, I pray I don't have to call you either. He's like, all right, wait. That was so fun. And then at the end, he's like, I don't know how much we're going to charge him for all this. What do you think we should charge him? And I just started laughing. I was like, it's just a fun movie.
It is a fun movie. It's about kids killing vampires.
And you got the guy from Bill and Ted, not Keanu Reeves, but the other actor who's a vampire with the craziest.
Alex Winter?
Hey, very good. And I'll drink a shot because you knew his name.
I don't know if
But it's so funny that he's like in there with like the most beautiful poodle hair you've ever seen.
Oh, it is gorgeous.
I don't know if he ever talks, but he's the
He
one
has
that
like
gets
2 lines.
he's the one that gets staked while hanging upside down.
And blood is spraying everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like blood. It looks like Vaseline or something. It's fucking crazy. The guy's like, ugh.
He must have been watching that saxophone scene.
He's busy with it. I've never seen a lead man play a saxophone. I love it. The singer plays like, oh yeah, and the crowd's all going crazy. I was
They
like,
were. I'm just like, man, I've never been this turned up for a fucking saxophone
No.
in my life. Maybe a trumpet or a piano, but a sax. I'm just kidding. I love saxophones after this movie.
it's so funny.
But I will bring up Fright Night now, the 2011 version.
Colin Farrell. You got James Franco as a dick at school. You got
That's right.
Anton Yelchin, who
sadly passed.
So sad he passed. I'm a big fan of his.
You got David Tennant is the
All right, so let's get into that.
vampire hunter, and Toni Collette. Christopher Mintz-Plasse as well, who we were talking about.
Thank you.
McLovin.
I think the whole movie is based on a very normal thing. Guy moves in. You think he's a serial killer? Something's going on. People are going missing. This guy goes, he's obviously a vampire, which is hilarious. In the movie, whenever you record him, he doesn't show up on a phone or anything. Like, he's just blank. I was like, man, it must be so easy to prove someone's a vampire. Like, if you can just take a video of someone, like, dude, look, just a shirt and pants walking around. Like, I don't
They didn't
know.
even show the shirt and pants. They just showed like
Was he
doors
invisible?
opening. Yeah.
Oh, well, then you can't prove it.
Yeah. Just magic doors opening. Maybe they showed shoes. I don't know.
Just shoes. You just see like pink fuzzy underwear. Just open up a car door and just start heading in.
I don't think they showed it. He's got vampire clothes on.
They addressed the invitation thing in it, and I liked it a lot.
They did. It was funny. It was funny.
He's chasing the kid, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who is the vampire hunter. He goes, I think this guy's a vampire. Chases him in. He finally gets away from him, gets into this house. He's like, you can't come in here. Ha ha ha. And he just looks around. He's like, it's an abandoned house. Doesn't count. And he just walks
He
through
walked
it.
in.
He's like, oh, fuck.
Like that's clever.
In the mythology, I don't know about garlic and other stuff. There's a thing over a home called a threshold, which is what doesn't let vampires go
That's
in.
what they talk about when you get married. When a man swoops up his wife, he carries her to the threshold.
Yes. So that's
It's so vampires can't get your bride.
it's important. Once you make a house a home, you're vampire safe.
Make sure you build a threshold.
You gotta build a threshold around your car too. I don't know, it's gonna be harder.
If you
don't,
live in it.
Don't bang hookers in your threshold. I think it takes away some of the power.
And never go out to Lookout Point.
I know. All of it was beautiful. I love seeing their house. The kid first gets there, he's like, oh, this place sucks. I'm looking at this beautiful cabin on the hill. I'm like, Jesus Christ, really? The grandpa's hilarious.
Grandma's hilarious.
God, he's so funny. He's like,
Greatest vampire hunter ever.
he's like, oh, you got a TV guide. Ah, man, cool. Where's the TV? He's like, I don't have a TV. That's why I have the TV guide. I just read it. It's better than watching TV. I think this guy's crazy.
That was funny.
Let's go to town. He starts the car. He turns it off. He's like, I thought we were going to town. Like, that's as close to town as I like to go.
But back to Fright Night.
Back to Friday night.
I didn't like Colin Farrell as a vampire.
Why?
I thought he tried too hard to be creepy. It wasn't that creepy. I thought when he turned, like they have their their vampire side where they turn. That's when they start fucking eating people.
They kind of look like bats almost. Like
I thought they looked like John Travolta. There was a scene where he turns. I was like, so what? They hired John Travolta? It's like, Jesus Christ! Like his hair's perfectly slicked back. Still, I was like, dude, it looks like him from Grease, just older.
How do you like the scene where he throws the motorcycle and almost hits the guys?
That's
what
when this movie is in 3D. They show
Yeah.
the whale, and I was like, I hate movies in 3D, and I'm not watching them in 3D.
I think the biggest one they did on this, I love it when they address the vampire superstitions. By the way, what's your guys' favorite one? I like that he grabs the girl to save her, and he runs her outside finally after working really hard to get her out of his little hidey room. Runs her outside, and she's bursting into flames, and she just ash.
Instantly. Another problem with that movie.
Instant.
Another vampire does it. I think it's Colin Farrell.
Okay.
Hits the sun and fucking takes him a second. Takes him minutes.
He's a more powerful
I
vampire.
was like, man, he's not like none of the bads really had like a couple pieces are flying off. And
Yeah.
also he's like, poof. I was like, that's dramatic.
Vampires exploding are awesome. I like that they don't just burst into flame and fly away. I like it when this like TNT. One guy staked a guy and the explosion knocked him back into a bookshelf. I was like, this is dope.
That's right.
Um,
It's pretty much Disturbia, but with vampires.
exactly. That's exactly
If
what
you
it
guys
is.
haven't seen it, I know everybody liked Disturbia.
Alfred Hitchcock's same kind of thing. The guy's a broken leg and he's looking out and he thinks he sees a guy going to kill his wife. It's the same idea. Neighbor moves in. Something's going wrong. You don't know what it is. I love David Tennant in this. I did not
Me too.
realize it was him. I go, damn. I go, this dude looks a lot like David Tennant. And then he took all the makeup off. I was like, oh shit, David Tennant's in this?
He isn't. He's the vampire hunter who just looks like Chris Angel.
Yeah, he's like doing like gimmicks and stuff, which is so funny. Like Lestat, he's like, I'm a vampire in a band. Like, all right, whatever, liar. But his thing was really cool. Even with his backstory, they said his family was killed by vampires, so that's why when he got fame successful, he started storing all this stuff to help fight vampires. And like even when Colin Farrell gets shot with the silver gun, He's like, yeah, that's werewolves. And kind of like makes fun of him.
I did think that was funny. I did think this is an underrated vampire movie. Nobody's seen it. Nobody's
No.
ever heard of it. I watched it in theaters when it came out. I love vampires. So I'll watch them. So I really want to talk about this one. I don't think it's a great movie by any stretch, but it's good. It's enjoyable.
Something I thought was funny in almost every scene except the beginning one. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know about what's going on over here. Anyways, I got a date coming over. Can I have beer? All this different stuff. He has claws, like pointed fingernails in every scene, but no one notices. I was like, dude, again, he has claws right in front of the mom and stuff. No one notices. I'm like,
I love the
what, did
beer
you
scene.
not take him off?
You can tell he's like begging him in an indirect way to invite him in. He's like, please invite me in.
He's like, yeah, his blood
He's like,
will
oh,
rip
do
your
you
head
need
off.
help? He's like, no, stay. I was like, there you go, man. Never invite a vampire to your house.
When he handed him the beer and then he pulled it back a little bit, that was funny because he wanted to see if he could come
And
in.
he's just like, the fuck, man.
You know how you get past the problem with the threshold invitation? You just blow up the house with the gas main. Coolest scene. I has to be the coolest.
That was
scene.
cool. I did like that scene. That's my favorite superstition right there. I love that
They have to invite him.
vampires are like the most strongest creature.
Yep.
They're super fast, superhuman strength. They can fucking transform into bats. And how do you stop them?
How do
You run into your house.
yeah, once you're there, you're safe.
It's like, fuck, I can't get him.
Well, this is one thing they said, which is what I've seen different stories and movies and stuff. They can come in without it, but they have no powers. Like they're weak as fuck. Because that one
Right.
guy's like, "Hey man, you invited me in. I'm at full power." He's like, "I didn't invite you in this time, dickhead," or something. And in Lost Boys, he attacks him. I think he staked him with like antlers or something.
I think so.
I can't remember.
I remember at one point in Lost Boys, the kid sprays him or something. He's like, "You have no power over me. I've been invited in." I'm like, I didn't know that was a fucking thing.
And also in Lost Boys, garlic. He goes, "I love garlic." He's like, "Loves garlic." No, he's not a vampire. I was like, all right. Don't know why garlic's a thing. I'm not sure. Out of like all the superstitions, I read up on a bunch of them. The garlic thing, I think, is just like something somebody did once, and now it's associated with this forever.
Kind of. Some movies do it, some movies don't. What We Do in the Shadows, I think, does it.
I think in
But they do every superstition. No,
They're so
they can't
funny.
get into nightclubs until they get invited in.
How's your baschetti? It looks like worms. I didn't know that was from Lost Boys. This is so funny. He's like, "You're eating maggots, Michael." Oh God! He's like, "It's just rice." I'm just kidding. Those, by the way, if you get to pick which vampire you could be out of all the vampires, the Lost Boys one isn't that bad. They're like, yeah, they have to eat, but they can fly around. They can eat regular food. And if you try to do that in What We Do in the Shadows, you vomit up all of your organs and 200 pounds of liquid if you have one French fry.
That's right. You're flying around everywhere just because your vomit is. We had John Suggs say Freddy Krueger can kill them. Can
Kill
kill a
who?
vampire.
What?
I assume, why not?
I think he's mixing up Abraham Lincoln with Freddy Krueger.
He did mention Abraham Lincoln. I saw that one pop up. Abraham Lincoln Vampires, the greatest vampire movie ever.
So funny. I think it's the same author that did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I think it also made this up. Abraham Lincoln
Well, he
Vampire.
hit goals with that one. It's a shitty movie. It's a shitty
Sure.
movie that's fun.
Yeah.
It's one of the. It's what Sharknado wants to be. Good.
It's what it wants to be.
Entertaining. We have Chrissy Holsworth.
Never heard of her.
Me either. Addressing the garlic, I believe, because they believed it was a disease and garlic helped battle it. That's why that got brought up.
They used to put like jars of honey in their pockets for good luck. Peasants don't know what they're doing.
That's not a thing? I'm going to need to wash my shoes.
Okay, do it after. Yeah, I love all the superstitions. We want to say what was your favorite superstition? If you have a vampire power, what would it be? Never aging's awesome. You can fly, super strength, super
Never
speed.
aging is awesome if I'm bitten in my prime. And
I thought about that too. If a vampire's like, "I'll make you more," I'm like, dude, give me 3 months to get in the best shape of my life.
Right?
I don't want to constantly, when I hit a pothole in my car, have my stomach hurt me.
Kristen Dunst.
Kirsten.
I give a shit. She's not an actress anymore.
She's on Fargo. She played a good part.
An interview with a vampire. She cuts her hair and her hair goes back instantly.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought, man, that would suck.
Yeah,
I would have to be bitten with a good head of hair.
do you want to get into Interview with the Vampire?
Nah, we keep touching up on it. It's good.
Okay.
We
Kirsten Dunst also had her first kiss on that movie to Brad Pitt, which everyone said they're super jealous that her first kiss is Brad Pitt. And she's like, yeah, it's pretty gross, guys. I was like 13 or like 11 maybe. She's like, yeah, it wasn't as cool as you think.
Someone said best power is to make a female fall madly in love with you.
The hypnotizing thing, that's the thing. Vampires, they look at you and you kind of...
You look like a vampire. Hypnotize the audience and make them watch more.
Give us a 5-star review. Subscribe. Like, comment. See me. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think my favorite thing about vampires, though, is that they're people still. Like, if you see a werewolf coming at you, or you see, like, a zombie, there's no talking to it. Like, a vampire could just outsmart you. You have to invite him in, so he has to go like this. Hey, yeah, so it's kind of cold out here. Do you have a cup of coffee? I'll give you $10 for it. Like, he can try to, like, outsmart you.
Give you $10, it seems desperate.
I'll give you $30. Like, yeah, let me put a pot on. You're like, yeah, what? Yeah, I'll get you a cup of coffee. How do I get in your house? Just walk in. Yeah, I need you to just argue about all the different ways.
Power to transform was mentioned.
Turn to bats, wolves, the Dracula Untold. Do you remember that movie? You can turn
Sadly, I do.
Wolves and bats. Like, that's a cool thing to do. Nobody really does it. The bat thing's almost always a joke.
What? Never a joke.
He never gets the faces right. Dude, Dracula Dead and Loving It. That's another great, funny one with...
There's a lot of good ones.
Mel Brooks did it with Leslie Nelson. And he turns into a bat, and it just fucks him up. He tries to fly away. And the bat fight, when they're fighting in What Do the Shadows, he throws him against the wall. God, it's so funny.
I do remember that. That was good.
Oh, that's
brilliant, too.
That's not cool, man.
He grabs him, I don't know, with his bat wing hands, and fucking just throws him, and as he transforms against the wall, I was like, that's fucking how you fight right there. That was a good one.
Yeah, he just like bashes against a garage door, and you hear it like thump and then hit the ground. He's like, oh, come on, man. That's not cool.
Can you name a vampire that wasn't rich?
You if you're a vampire. Definitely Eames. Eames is poor.
What? I don't.
Are they all rich?
Eames, you're poor.
Are they all rich? Colin Farrell didn't seem rich, but you know what? They all have like secret rooms and shit.
He had like an underground tunnel.
I don't know. The Lost Boys, they didn't look rich at all. They stayed in a literal cave.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, Kiefer Sutherland, you're awesome. And I really liked him in that room.
Maggoty Chinese food.
Yeah, he had to go Chinese food. That dude
he can't even sit at the restaurant.
No.
Well, Rona.
Hey guys, Chinese food, what would you like? Can you invite us in so we can order?
I did. I love that about what we do in the shadows. I've always wanted to see a comedy about vampires where they just struggle trying to do everyday tasks.
So funny.
I need to go grocery shopping. Man behind the counter, could you invite me in? They did it in the TV show. They go to get one of their friends who turned into a bat and got claimed by animal services. And they have to ask the woman behind the counter, invite us in. She's like, just come in. Just come in. What? Please invite us in. And I was like, I also found out how to beat a werewolf.
What's that?
You fight him on a roof, and you grab a squeaky toy, and then you throw it off the roof.
I've seen that scene. He's like, choose your weapon. I think the guy's like, I choose my own claws. And
he's like, and he's a big, like, Polynesian dude.
Yeah.
And the vampire goes up. He scopes out the axe and the machete and all these ancient weapons, the mace. And then you just see him reach over and just, squeak, squeak.
Squeaky toy.
Not the squeaky toy.
He throws it off the roof. The werewolf jumps. They're like, don't!
And then it shows them later down there. Their buddies, not dead on the ground, but pretty beat up.
You know what the #1 vampire slayer of our time is? Suggs mentioned it. Ozzy Osbourne. You know how many heads he's bitten off bats that are actually vampires?
One.
But it's still the best of our times. There was only one vampire.
He's just not the most humble.
This is the first time he did it on camera. He does it like every other day.
That's fair. Surprised I haven't seen more people bite bats.
I want to tell you this. This is funny that we're doing vampires. Well, my story not be, but the coincidental part of it. I used to help take care of my nieces, and I would have to go out all the time to do stand-up.
To watch their kids.
It was a mistake for sure. They're all doing great. The fourth one, I mean, who could have predicted that would happen? But I would go out all the time. What I'd do is I'd go to bars to do stand-up comedy. So finally I just told him, I was like, where are you going? I like, do you see any vampires around here? And they're like, no, you're welcome. And then I would leave.
You're welcome.
And just kidding, like I was a vampire slayer. Like I always make up different jokes, so it's very perfect that you don't see any vampires around. Somebody's doing their job.
That's fair. We had someone mention Little Vampire.
Little Vampire. There's another one, an animation one where
Yeah, no one cares about that one. Why? Why would you bring it up? We want the live action one about the little kid who becomes a friend with a vampire.
I mean, I've probably seen it.
Great movie.
Really?
I actually do like it. It's enjoyable. That's a pretty. The kid on there is goddamn adorable.
I feel like you're mad that I was going to skip over it. I didn't know you had so much love
mad.
for this. How would I know?
If a viewer brings up a movie and I can read it, I will get to
I'm going to say it.
I'm going to say
Does he have to get invited into places in My Little Vampire?
Yeah, probably, man. He's a fucking vampire.
He doesn't just twinkle
I
in
had
the
to
sun?
invite you in.
I mean, yes, you did. Via text.
Doors open. Come on in.
Thank you. Blah, blah, blah.
Someone brought up Let Me In as well. Probably the American version.
Yeah, let's get to Let Me In.
All right. You
So-
seem excited.
I like it's so I used to do a lot of foreign films. It started off as a Swedish version, I believe. A lot of the myths are in this that are really cool. Like when someone gets bitten by a vampire. All right, we'll just start from the beginning. The beginning is it's a kid vampire, a lot like Claudia is in Interview with the Vampire. Kirsten Dunst.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
Yeah,
Also
that's-
Hit Girl, and she's had some
That's
thrillers
right.
she's done recently.
She was in Neighbors 2.
She was in Neighbors too. That's right. She has a familiar. That's another thing. Vampires have familiars to watch over their coffins at night. It was a joke in Dracula Dead and Loving It with Renfield, who was hilarious.
It's a joke in every comedy one, really.
Yeah, when we do Shadows has it as well. I mean, you have to have familiar to watch over you. So her familiar is like 65 and just pretended to be like,
You could say they're a vampire's assistant
all right. I guess.
because of the movie, guys.
I understand. Okay? That's
I didn't know if they did. It's
All
a
right,
brilliant
Jesus.
joke.
Okay, take it easy.
Anyway, keep going explaining the movie.
Okay,
So
so
the energy drainer.
no, don't say that. Awesome. It starts off fast. He kills people and drains them of their blood for her. In the American version, it's played by the guy who's the stepbrother's dad. He's been in 100 things.
Yeah, it's Richard Jenkins.
Richard Jenkins.
Stupid.
The way that scene's filmed is the only part of the American version I liked better, where he's hiding and he's going to kill him, but then it gets fucked up. And you actually worry about the serial killer like getting caught when he's in the backseat of the car.
Oh, that's not at the beginning.
Is that towards the end?
Yeah, that's like middle. So they don't show that part. They show the car kind of catching fire at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of show him in the hospital. And you don't know who it is. The face has been burned and all that.
Yeah.
And they show it later. Spoiler alert. He's just got a garbage bag, like a hefty black garbage
with
bag.
like eye holes.
With eye holes. He's laying in this guy's car. And he makes a stop. And his buddy jumps in the car. Boom. And throws his bag in the back. You're like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Something bad's going to happen. This is intense scene. And then they stop at a gas station. The driver walks in. And the guy's like, oh, I need to get something from my bag. And he's getting something. He sees his shoes. And he kind of looks over.
Yeah.
And sees the face. And then the guy attacks him. They drive off.
Mhm.
And then they loses control of the car. They fly off the hill. And then you see that
Yeah.
he's got acid. And he burns his own face because he's dying. He knows he's done.
Well, so he burns his own face so they can't identify
Yeah.
him and trace him to his little vampire.
And then that scene was good, where his daughter or his vampire comes
Mhm.
up and is like, "Oh, you're great." Oh, and then she drains him of his blood.
She drains him of his blood. He dies.
Falls off the roof.
So she has to find someone new to take care of her. In the Swedish one, it's a big deal that they have a knock code, that they knock to each other through the coffin lid and talk while she's resting. God, it's brutal too. She's like kills the bullies and helps them fight. And
So I thought this movie, the American version, I've never seen the other version,
okay,
was all right.
yeah, I felt the same.
I thought it was the slow burn. I thought the ending was eh.
Did you like it when like the cats were attacking the woman and she's in the hospital bed and like, let's get you some sunlight, and they open up the window, just burst into flames
That
in the
was
bed?
funny.
Dude, sunlight's a thing and everything but Twilight. And animals hating you?
It's a thing in Twilight. Do you want to glow like someone?
People pay a lot of money to be like a glow stick in a dance club. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that's an attempt. But when you're out in the sunlight and it looks like Chastity from the goddamn strip club down the street just rubbed all over you for 5 hours straight, and now you're just shimmering. Is that what you want? Is
Shimmering.
that what you want to be a shimmery bastard?
No.
All right then. It's a struggle.
Struggle. I really liked this one a lot. The Swedish one, or Norwegian, or whatever it is. Very good. The scene where he's like, I want you to hold your breath for as long as you can. And put his head underwater. It was drowning him. And then you just see like blood. And you see the arm get ripped off and pulled across the water. I might be mixing up the English and the foreign one, but yeah, that was a surprise.
Pretty much the same thing.
Like, I was like, okay, so this is getting me back into vampire movies. This is pretty well done.
The ending was
Where he,
oh, great. She saved him from being bullied, but it's like,
I don't remember.
now what? Like, I wanted to see more like what's happening with them now. But then it shows them riding off on a train. I'm like, you're 2 fucking kids. They're not doing anything.
So she's like 900 years old.
It's like, she got bit at the wrong time. That's why there was a rule: never bite a kid.
Never bite a kid. It's a rule.
It gets brought up in a couple of movies.
Absolutely. You're not supposed to turn a kid.
Yeah, that's some messed up shit.
It's
They
fucked
make a
up.
joke about it in the TV show, What We Do in the Shadows. He bought up an infant. He bit an infant. And you see that infant later on the Council of Vampire. John Suggs, I think he brought it up earlier too. He said Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, most underrated movie of all time.
Wow.
I've never seen it, I'm not gonna lie. Do you consider that a vampire movie? He says it has vampires in it.
I mean, I would have to rewatch before I talked about it, but most underrated movie of all time, maybe because nobody's seen it. We need to have more people chime in. Like, yeah,
I haven't
it's
seen
a
it.
good one.
I've watched the trailer. I was like, man, I ain't watching that. But I guess if a viewer tells me to do something, I will.
Absolutely.
And this guy said, what, punch Danny in the face?
No, don't read that one.
I have to.
No. I want to get into Van Helsing, which I'm going to tell you, I rewatched Van Helsing, which
Not a good movie.
it bombed at the box office. It's like
Deserved it.
It's like The Mummy. That is the same feel of the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would watch 19 of these.
You're talking about Tom Cruise's The Mummy, right? Or you
No.
talking about the original Mummy?
I'm talking about Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's Mummy was good.
Just
Tom
like Van
Cruise's Mummy
Helsing.
had everything it needed to. Had comedy, good acting, its action sequences weren't bad. I liked the villains. It's the same with Van Helsing. There's just
So good.
something off that I did not like about it. The Mummy with Tom Cruise, I couldn't watch
Like
it.
the
Boring.
vampire brides and the bats are running out and he turns into there's werewolves and Frankensteins. Like they really wanted to add everything to this movie. I was like, there's even Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He's like fighting them in the bell tower. I was like, this is funny. This movie I was watching, I was like, this is fun. This is dumb fun, this movie. Is it good? No. But for me, it's probably like you and Con Air. It's not a good movie.
You and
Enjoy
Con
it.
Air, you mean?
I don't like Con Air.
I think you were telling me the other day, like, dude, so I rewatched Con Air
I
today
didn't
for
know.
the third time. Just today.
No.
Because I own it.
That's
I
not what
framed the DVD cover and put it on my wall.
If I had any time this week, it was only for vampire movies. Got to get through so many.
Con Air's not a vampire movie. I don't know why you kept telling me you were watching Con Air repeatedly.
Well, you know what? Nicolas Cage is in a vampire movie of sorts called Vampire's Kiss.
He is.
Man, that is a dark comedy about a guy slowly going insane, thinking he's a vampire,
That's just him acting normal.
and he puts in fake teeth to bite someone's neck. It doesn't work. And I think he uses a knife, or like he just bites them with his regular teeth. It's just so crazy. It's Nicolas Cage at his Nicolas
His
Cage
peak. That's an Academy Award winner right there.
He's so terrible.
Bram Stoker's Dracula has been brought up a few times.
Yep.
It's a good movie, but I like Gary Oldman. I think Christina Ricci, I
Mhm.
think is in that one. It's all right. I thought a little boring.
Are you more into Blade 3, that guy that played Dracula?
Fuck yeah.
Drac, I think he went by.
No, I hated that.
It's so
I hated
funny.
Blade 3.
Uh,
Although I do look like Hannibal King.
okay, you don't.
Ryan
Ryan Reynolds. I saw a thing. I'm reading a book right now, listening
I know,
about
you can't read.
Salem's Lot, which is a Stephen King book about vampires that they are turning into a series. It's already greenlit. And he said the original Dracula story is a lot like Lord of the Rings, where you're getting a bunch of random people together that all have these different things, and they're going to go off and try to do this impossible feat. So I was like, okay, so that should be something in a lot of vampire movies. I like when you don't know what's going on. I like when a regular person has to figure it out, and they can do all the things like, yeah, crosses don't do shit. Garlic works. Like, you have to decide what rules apply to this movie.
Fright Night did a cross scene, which I thought was funny. He just grabbed it and the cross burned and then threw it on the ground. And he's like, God, it hurt. I was like, there you go. I guess crosses aren't that great. Vampire in Brooklyn.
Hey, that's another one with
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie
And
Murphy. Blackula. So I believe it wasn't John Carpenter. It's a director that's known more for horror films. Did Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy, and he wanted to start getting into comedies. The director did. So he's like, I'll have Eddie Murphy be a vampire, and I'll make jokes. The movie has funny parts, but there's also dark parts. Eddie Murphy wanted to get into serious acting roles. He didn't want to do comedies anymore. So these guys that have two very different ideas of how this movie is going to be made do this movie, and you can kind of tell because it'll flip 180 degrees really quickly. Where like he's trying to rip a girl's throat out, and then later you'll see the funny dad from Friday like talking to people and stuff and just being goofy. You're like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do here.
Well, every movie you need a comedic relief.
Oh yeah, his zombie little familiar, who's like falling to pieces.
I need a familiar. It was Wes Craven.
Wes Craven, exactly. Thank you. But it was really funny. He talks about it. He's like, yeah,
Wes Craven should not be doing comedies.
Well,
He needs to keep doing more horror, more and more.
Well, can you imagine making a movie and you're like, I want to add more comedy in this. Eddie Murphy's in here, and Eddie Murphy goes, no, I don't want to. Like, really? And then the opposite, Eddie Murphy's like, I want a serious role. I'll get Wes Craven. Wes Craven's like, I want to make a jokey film. He's like, dude, this is fucking stupid. What are we doing?
Why would he get Wes Craven though? He's known for horror.
What do you mean?
Like, I want to do a serious film. I'm gonna go to a horror director.
Well, I mean, more than a comedy director, I guess.
I guess.
Well, Mel Brooks comes out and he's doing a very serious role in Frankenstein. You just wouldn't expect it.
That's fair, I guess. One I want to brush by, not really talk about that much.
I'll go into
great
deep.
movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vampire's Assistant.
Yeah, with
Or Familiar.
John C. Reilly's in that. I mean, great cast.
Selma Hayek, Josh Hutcherson, Chris I don't know his name, Massagolia.
Yeah,
He's the main
Massagolia.
character. He's the reason I do not like this movie that much.
I don't know what it is. This movie tried to
Ray
be
Stevenson, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe is also in Daybreakers,
Willem.
which is another vampire movie, and he's also played Nosferatu in another vampire movie, and I bet you he's played another one.
Probably. Typecasted.
I wish this movie was better.
Which one?
Vampire's Assistant.
I really want to say it's the main character. I don't like the acting. I don't like the actual character. There's nothing I liked about that character in that movie.
There's like 10 books based off of this that are all super successful.
Oh, yeah.
But man, John C. Reilly said, I want to do this part because he's not like a normal vampire. He's not turning into a bat. He's not doing this stuff. He's like, he runs fast, but mostly he's human. So I get to portray him as a very normal kind of character. And I don't know what it was, but I think they just tried it's the same thing before. They're setting up a trilogy before the first one's successful.
Plus, they didn't do a great job casting the main character.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I get it. It's just, the movie is something you want to like. You're watching it. It's not a bad story, but just you can't sink your teeth into it.
They bit off more than they could chew.
No, they don't bite. They just
Vampire.
Yeah. So, and the Daybreakers, I thought it was all right.
All right, we're talking about Daybreakers for a
I'll
second.
let you talk about this one. Don't.
Ethan
drain my
Hawke,
energy.
Willem Dafoe, Sam Neill, who's the guy from Jurassic Park. No,
Sorry, you brought up Sam Neill.
my brother told me when he was a kid, he mathematically figured out that vampires couldn't exist. Just to show you the different how brains are. Mine, his brain worked differently. I was scared of Godzilla.
You were like, I don't know what 2 + 2 is. I have to read my books on Audible.
Listen to them.
You always say read, though.
I do. So he's like, well, if they bite someone when they bit turn into a vampire, we'd be overrun with vampires. Is the premise of this movie. Almost all the population are vampires. They're running out of blood. They have a synthetic blood they're making, but they're running out of that too. And they're farming humans and keeping big blood banks, kind of like they did in Blade 2. They hook them up and they drain their blood. But everything's made for vampires now. Most cities are underground, so there's no problem with the sunlight. They don't have mirrors. So like when you drive, they have cameras set up and you look at the camera so you can see yourself. because you can't look through a mirror.
Well, in Fright Night, you can't do that.
Nope.
So
You gotta establish those rules. Stakes work. All the vampires have crossbows.
So, like, if I threw a ribeye at one,
no.
filet mignon, take my COVID. Get it off. It's medium rare.
Yeah, I like Daybreakers. If you run out of blood, you turn into these big bat creatures that wings are out, and you hunt and you kill anything. You eat animals, you eat other vampires. Very interesting. Like the movie, at the end, Willem Dafoe was a vampire, got turned to human somehow, and trying to figure out how he did it. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, I was driving, and I wrecked my car. I flew through the windshield during daytime. I got caught on fire, then I hit water, and now I'm human. He's like, the sun cured you? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, all right, well, we have to figure this out, because once we do that.
I didn't like that.
I liked it.
I thought the movie, I loved the plot. I loved the plot. I told you, I like vampires. I think it's so crazy that this most powerful thing that's almost a superhero.
Sure.
Wood, garlic is a thing.
Yeah.
Crosses.
Yeah.
And hey, I can't come into your house unless you invite me. Like, their things are so weird. Like, Superman has kryptonite.
It is weird.
Its kryptonite is manners. You gotta invite me in. I'm like, geez, I'm not gonna just barge in. I'm like, that is pretty hilarious. But yeah, I could not get into this movie. I tried, I think twice. I was like, I think the second time was a little better, but I just couldn't do it. It wasn't my thing.
There are some weird parts to it. I like that his brother, like I mentioned, is like, I like being a vampire. I was a terrible human. I don't want to go back. And the cure is after you feed on a guy that's been cured, a vampire that's now a human, and that'll turn you to human. So it starts spreading very quickly. I was like, okay, this is definitely an interesting idea. I love the flipping of the idea. There's one vampire that's hunting and killing his family or these kids or whatever. That happens all the time. What about the whole population's vampires?
What about him?
That's a neat twist. For those of you just listening, Brandon is urinating. Jesus Christ. Take your time.
Someone called me out once on this show. John.
All right, let's get into the heavy hitters.
Wait, you ever watch Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, which is so funny.
Dog shit.
An aging soap opera that that they added a vampire to save ratings. And it works. It fucking works. But he's such a weird vampire like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And
It should be better. It should be. I don't know if it's just I'm not a fan of Tim Burton's jokes. I thought Johnny Depp wasn't the greatest. The cast is really good. I like Helena Bonham Carter in that movie.
she's really good. I like her in a lot of stuff.
But yeah, I was going to say, she is probably one of my favorite female actresses. And I know it was you, John. Sucks. I know it was you.
Don't argue with the guests.
Oh, I'll
okay?
argue.
With our-
Tell me I don't drink enough.
All right, hold on. Jeez, that's that vampire rage coming out
I
of
have
you.
to go to AA.
Interview with the Vampire is my favorite vampire movie. I love it. Brad Pitt initially did not want to work on it. He desperately tried to get out of it by any means. The contacts, he said, hurt his eyes. To do the makeup, they would hang the actors upside down for half an hour so that their veins would bulge, and then they would do the makeup over where their real
And then
veins
they
are.
would, tip them back up, and then if they didn't get enough veins, they would tip them back over.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you guys are getting paid millions. Suck it up,
Brad Pitt.
dirtbags.
Brad Pitt did not like it. He wanted out of it. The author, Anne Rice, had all these different people she wanted to cast as Lestat. A bunch. Like, I think she also wanted Daniel Day-Lewis, all these different actors. And they got Tom Cruise, and she hated it. She hated the casting. Came out and said, I can't see of any way this will work. You've ruined this movie. Didn't watch the movie forever. Someone finally sent her a copy, and then she wrote an apology letter saying, Tom Cruise, you crushed it. I'm sorry.
Tom Cruise is really good in this movie, and so was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I think you said it was their best acting roles.
I don't know.
I don't agree with it, but I mean it's close for Tom Cruise, definitely.
I think so. Tom Cruise.
I mean, he's the best. I didn't like Brad Pitt that much in this movie, but I didn't like his character. I don't like that whiny vampire thing.
Yeah.
It's why I don't resonate with Twilight. It's why this is something that I don't like. I also don't like.
I don't like
Emma
this
Stone.
either, but I'm not gesturing at your costume.
I was gesturing at me as a human, not a vampire. It's just that's not a story I can get into. Like, I'm the most powerful being ever. but I don't want to drink blood from humans. Like, you can ask or something.
You can ask.
Make a familiar. Drain them forever.
You want to have like bags of blood, like
Yeah.
they do in. I think Blade does it, and then they do it in different things.
Mad Max, get yourself a blood bag.
Blood bag. What a lovely day.
I mean, that's my opinion. I think that's what brought the movie down. Antonio Banderas is also in this. And I think I liked everything else about it. Christian Slater. I don't like Christian Slater. I don't think he's that good of an actor. He's all right. in this
They
movie.
wanted to have River Phoenix play that part of the interviewer, and he
Oh,
was
yes,
slated to
right.
do that, and he died. Christian Slater donated all of his check to a charity in his honor, which
I
was
thought
pretty
that was
cool.
really cool.
I think it was like $250,000 or something, which is pretty dope.
Have you seen Kronos?
Chronos.
Yeah, well, that's about right.
Stop.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't make up things. Sometimes our audience members
It's
make up
called
things.
Corona. and
Yeah.
we don't joke around
That's,
about
it's
it.
serious business.
But
How do you like Kirsten Dunst in this? You want to talk about
it's her
amazing?
best acting, but her,
God,
I'll go
she's
with.
so good.
And I've watched Spider-Man. I really like all two of them.
Yeah, you say that, but Tom Cruise can't do an upside down kiss in the rain.
That's Tobey Maguire, though.
That's true.
Tobey Maguire perfected that kiss,
It's
not
all,
her.
it's all perspective.
It was him making that kiss better.
There's the famous scene you talked about where she cuts off her hair and she's screaming at him and she's freaking out, saying, "I'll never grow up. This is gonna be me forever. You lied to me. You did this to me." After that scene was shot, the cast and crew ran over and said, "Are you okay?" She's just like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" I'm like, and they talked to her parents, going like, "Is she all right? Like, did something happen?"
She's just a child.
That's what the mom says. Like, no, she's just a good actress. She's like, "Don't worry, she's not."
She's really great. Tom Cruise, who? If she's that good, then why doesn't she have a better career?
Top billing for Kirsten.
That part though, where she's yelling at him, she wants to kill Tom Cruise's character. Apparently, vampires can't drink blood from a corpse. I didn't know that one.
That's a thing too. I've seen it in Supernatural and other movies. They would use dead man's blood, shoot it with them, and they would pass out. Dead man's blood will kill a vampire. Facts.
Facts. You'll learn them here, folks.
Sunlight does kill a vampire, especially if it's a kid and a grown woman, and they turn to ash and they freeze that way.
And they cry together.
That was sad. And they were gonna seal him alive forever in a stone wall.
Nice that they could bond before they died, at least.
What? I guess. I don't know. Dying in an embrace like Pompeii. It's rough.
Whoa.
Is that a good amount of alcohol?
Um,
Same thing in Underworld when they turn to. It's funny. Like if you're a
stop
liked
talking about Underworld.
liked character, you don't explode like every other vampire.
That's right.
would.
You turn
Daybreaker-
stone.
Daybreakers was the one I was talking about where he stakes him. He's too close and it blows him back and knocks him in a bookshelf and he knocks it over. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see.
I liked it, but you got everything covered?
You've been
Interview
a
with the
very, very naughty girl. Yeah, when they throw him into alligators and then he comes back. And
I like the end where
So
he jumps out of the car, the backseat of the car, like let me in. Just, he didn't have the garbage bag over his face, and just what's up, bitch?
I'm gonna give you a choice that I was never given.
Because I need no introduction. I was like, God, I wish I was that cool. I could say that.
He had it on the radio. That seems like, oh, is Louis still whining about something? Very funny. All of the books are based around Lestat, not Louis, even though Louis is an interesting character played by Brad Pitt.
Nosferatu. You think that's your number one vampire movie?
No, absolutely not. It's Interview with a Vampire. I love that movie. They're all frilly and they're in the South, and
It's 1922. That version.
yeah,
It's a silent movie. I know that.
that's the one. They did a remake of it, saying that they actually had to work with a real vampire to make it, and William Dafoe plays Nosferatu in that. The director knows, and he doesn't tell any of the cast. They're like, oh, this guy's really into character.
You know, Wesley Snipes is in 4 vampire movies.
4?
4. Blade 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
What We Do in the Shadows.
He was in.
The TV show.
Oh,
He's part of the vampire council, and he Skypes in, and everything's delayed. So he's timing in on things they're done talking about already.
I want to talk about Blade. I want to talk about it.
Let's do Wesley Snipes.
Marvel's first Marvel movie, almost.
It
Like,
did not set up the Marvel universe, though.
maybe,
No.
kind of.
That movie did not do as good in the box office.
No, I didn't.
So the first one did good.
Sure.
Second one, usually if your first one does good, the second one will do good. Third one bombed.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are a fan of Patton
It's also
Oswalt,
in the 90s.
he's a comic, and he worked on the movie. He was like their hacker
He's a
guy.
comic?
He's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. Not a comic. You know, a comic book.
You call them comics.
No, comedians.
Well, I'm just. He talks about what it was like to work on set with Wesley Snipes, saying he would just stay in his trailer and smoke weed all day. Would not
heard
come
that.
out to do
I heard he's a piece of shit to work with.
the acting role. Like, he didn't want to do it, so they would use his stand-in for most of the shots. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of credit. Wesley Snipes too, right? Wesley Snipes 2.
What?
I don't know his stunt double's name.
Oh, I don't know either.
Which one's better, 1 or 2?
I liked 2. The first one you gotta
Yeah,
go
I'd
with.
say 2.
I would go with the first just because it established it. Whistler's awesome.
I get it. I still think like Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, big fan of Ron.
I know you was.
I'm a big fan of Ron.
So I win every argument. Ron Perlman. I love it.
Oh, by the way, Whistler, who comes back in the second one, which is crazy because he looks like he offed himself, a vampire. His character is not in the comics. They made him up for the TV show, Spider-Man the animated cartoon.
So he's the Norman Reedus of Blade.
Yes, exactly.
If you don't know that, Norman Reedus' character, Daryl, is not in the comic books.
No, but he was so well liked in the cartoon that they made him a character.
Exactly.
So it's kind of cool how that changed it. I was like, that's pretty dope. Really like the first one, The Pull Out the Fang. Steven Dorff was also asked to be a vampire in Interview with the Vampire. He was supposed to be, I'm sorry, not a vampire. He was supposed to be the reporter. But they got Christian Slater. So he was almost in 2 vampire movies. I thought he was awesome as Frost.
I liked him in that. I thought he was a really good villain.
The director loved CGI so much. And like, this is the new technology. There's an alternate ending that's shot that you can find online. You'll like this, where he was supposed to turn into a blood tornado. Literally
like
a whirlwind of blood that could hide in other blood and pop back out and using to kill it with the serum. They have the screen test of this.
How did you kill it?
He uses little fucking darts that make blood explode. Like, that's how he does it.
Perfect.
But it's so funny to see it because it looks dog shit. It looks really bad. Yeah.
That's funny.
Liked Blade a lot.
Which vampire hunter, I'm going to ask you, do you think wins? Blade or Selena?
Ooh, from Underworld?
Yeah, from Underworld.
Mm.
I'll answer for me. Blade.
Think so?
Just because I like the movies more?
Well, plus he's got shit to kill vampires. She doesn't
That's
have shit
right.
to kill vampires.
That's right.
You know who's supposed to play Blade?
Whom?
LL Cool J, son.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more cool, Jay, if he did.
It's crazy that he's supposed to play Blade. Can you imagine? I can't imagine anyone
I
playing Blade.
absolutely can't imagine it. Would have been cooler.
So funny.
Would have been great.
Here's what I like. There's a movie coming out soon called Morbius with Jared Leto, where he plays the living vampire. We've seen the trailer.
It's
Let's go.
It's a comic book movie, but with Fox, Sony.
So
Sony.
on the second Blade, they're gonna have a scene where they're overlooking on top of a roof, looking down, and they realize a vampire is stalking them, but not coming near them, and leaves. That was supposed to be a tie-in to Morbius. He wanted to include Morbius in the sequel. Sam Raimi, who we just talked about in Spider-Man, the director wanted to bring Morbius into the 4th Spider-Man movie. But since the 3rd one, he stopped because everybody just made fun of him.
Well, yeah.
So he kept the rights to it, though, in case he could make another 4th one. So he couldn't use it in Blade. Like, the directors couldn't use it because he had, like, the rights to it. And then it fucking tinkered out, and it was gone. But now we're getting Jared Leto as Morbius. That trailer looks dope. I'm excited to see Jared Leto.
Hopefully he does better as Morbius than Joker.
Hopefully he gets more than 8 minutes of screen time.
That's, well, I don't know.
God, dang, that's crazy.
Once Bitten with Jim Carrey.
Hey, Once Bitten.
Hey,
That's right. I see.
That's
There's
the
so
fun.
many vampire movies.
There's a lot. There is.
I want to talk about this. They realized during Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes was not going to work. They're like, he's just going nuts. He just can't figure it out. So they started to put more of Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel as their own team doing things. So they shot an ending where they go into a strip club and they fight werewolves as the ending, hoping to do a spin-off about the Night Stalkers. So they shot it, and you can watch it online, and it's cool and interesting, but you're also kind of like, what the fuck's going on? This is Blade. But they're like, dude, we got it. It's like, we still want to keep money. We want to keep a franchise going. Wesley Snipes is going insane. He doesn't believe in paying taxes.
You could have killed
The
him
name
off.
of the movie's Blade.
Yeah, you kill him off at the end. Boom, spin-offs. Then you have the Night Slayers. Boom,
That'd be dope.
Boom.
I'd watch Triple H and that Pomeranian whose mouth opened
You're
up.
damn right. I'd watch Triple H all day. I do, because he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he's been with the company for 25 years.
I like Triple H too.
Me too. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah.
The game.
I'm trying to think if there's any more like superpowers. Vampires have a shit ton. They got the claws that come out.
Super speed, super strength.
Yeah,
They can
hypnotism.
hypnotize you.
They can turn into mist sometimes. Bats,
They can't
wolves.
eat food.
Nope.
So that's cool.
Unless,
they don't get
drink
fat
animal
bellies
blood?
like these.
hey man.
Hey, I went like this first. Calm down.
Oh, I
Sissy pants.
thought you were hungry.
I am.
Little hungry.
Obviously, I am. I'm on a diet.
I think Blade. You have to mention Blade when you talk about this. This is like the number one thing that came up. All the Dracula movies for sure. Which there's the Dracula in Blade, but there's Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, we're not brushing over that. All three of them. They're good. Blah, blah, blah.
You're backing Hotel Transylvania. But you're not giving any love to like Queen of the Damned and
Because I like good movies.
Underworld.
Underworld. Nobody
Yeah.
likes Queen of the Damned.
Come on. No.
You like Waterworld.
Just me?
Fuck off.
God, it's so good. I wish
That
they had
movie's
sequels
so
to that.
shitty. You're gonna talk about that and Queen of the Damned. I don't know what I'm doing. A
You know what?
podcast
Underworld is very much like Van Helsing. You're right. It's
with. Garbage.
It's just adding so
Not
much
good.
stuff in there.
It's a clusterfuck of shittiness. That's my review. Official. Find it on. Yeah, I don't write articles.
Yeah, Sam Whistler, cool.
I actually don't want to brush over it that much. Hotel Transylvania,
Oh, really? Okay.
I actually do quite enjoy.
Buscemi,
It's a bit of a little guilty pleasure for
David
me.
Spade. All right.
I like them all. I like the third one too.
Okay.
So watch them if you haven't. But I'm sure everybody has.
So
Blah blah blah.
not to the always with the blah blah blah.
It's just dumb, shitty vampire jokes and
It's a vampire. It's
werewolves and slime and
it's an Adam Sandler
Frankenstein.
movie.
Yeah, it's literally him and his buddies just voicing different.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi,
Vampire
David
movie.
Spade, everybody that they always
So-
have.
Yeah, obviously I'm talking about. I'm brushing it over. Stupid Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we crushed a lot. Abraham
killed
Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. We
Greatest
got
vampire movie
Buffy,
ever.
which is turned into a huge series that launched Joss Whedon's career. And
That's right.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean,
Did something to her. She went on to star in Scooby Doo
Lucky.
1 and 2.
What? Jinkies.
History of Skull Island.
Something like that. I don't know. They're pretty rough. But yeah, we got to talk about Buffy. The first one's still funny. Cheerleader. I mean, it's very much the same jokes and feel to it as this TV series is. The amount of TV series that vampires are on, True Blood. I mean,
There's V Wars on Netflix. I think they just did like a 3-episode thing with Dracula is what it's called.
oh yeah, watch that. If you guys are in a vampire mood after this,
You should be. You did great.
the two, I would highly recommend to watch the first 2 episodes. It's very cool, and just like this, Underworld, weird power, right? They bite you, they can see your memories, see if you've been lying or something.
That's cool. Hopefully they don't even bite me.
They're like, God, this guy's lazy.
Yeah. I didn't watch as many vampire movies as I said I did.
What? That series though, he only wants to drink the blood of smart people because it affects him.
So as you like check their GPAs and their
So he invites all these very well-educated,
Give them
well-spoken
quizzes.
people. Yeah. He's like, all right, before I drain you, a
you
train
know,
is
the Goodwill Hunting problem. It's like, solve it. Get out.
You see a guy just draws a picture of a cat. And he's like, I told you not to come back. I'm not going to drain you.
I don't want to suck your blood.
It's very good, though. Definitely check out that series. That's a good interpretation of Dracula and vampires that I've seen recently. Probably one of my favorites probably in the last 2 or 3 years. And it's free. It's on Netflix, man. Check that shit out.
Well, it's not free unless you're not paying for your Netflix. But
Someone's leeching off of someone else. I mean,
usually,
yeah, that's how it works.
goddamn leechers.
Uh,
Speaking of vampires, leeches are just vampires sucking on blood.
I guess. Where you going with this?
I don't know. Nowhere.
All right. Oh, there's also a very good episode of The X-Files with vampires
Yeah.
with the redheaded kid from
I knew you'd bring
Sandlot.
that up.
Did you know?
Yeah, I know you like the X-Files.
I like that they made him OCD. So, like, he's about to attack Mulder. He drugged his pizza so that he's going to fall asleep so he can feed off of him. And he sees him coming, and Mulder knocks off a huge thing of change on the ground, and it falls everywhere. And the guy's like, why would you do that? God. And he walks over and he just like starts stacking on top of each other. So
He's
he's
responsible.
doing that to buy time so that he has time to like recover from his thing. So you have him to pick off. He's like, it's just rude. So something like that, the vampire. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't remember that episode. So
Vampires in a lot of mythology around the world. Everybody has different versions of vampires. Americans actually took a base in the Philippines during the Vietnam War by spreading rumors there's vampires in the area and killing off soldiers and draining them and hanging them upside down because that's what the vampires did.
vampires are real.
Not in this part of the Philippines, they weren't.
No, everywhere.
Well, there wasn't that many there.
No, there's actual people who identify as
Okay.
vampires.
You're good at doing the yes and thing for improv, but you're fucking it up.
No, I'm absolutely saying
What?
people identify as vampires.
What do you mean?
They have secret vampire councils and stuff. And
Sure.
that's not a joke. You can look it up. They have like a thing in New Orleans, like a Facebook page for vampires
Hey,
type thing.
New Orleans is straight haunted the entire state.
They say, "Oh, it's just a medical condition. Like people crave blood and shit." And I'm just like, "That's the dumb." Because I looked up vampire facts.
Hmm.
That was something that came up. Vampires are real, and they explained it. I was like, "Well, it sounds stupid, but it's not."
Hey, man,
not vampires.
We're not here to label people. All right.
I'll label them stupid.
Yeah,
Fright
that's
Night 2 is garbage compared to the first.
Oh shit! Coming in harsh. Some people, but
Some people come in
Yeah.
a little harsh.
that is funny. Like some people identify as vampires. I believe it. I've seen girls get fang in Britain. It's a thing to have like fangs in all the time.
Give them my number.
Okay, I will. See me. Yeah.
Dracula Untold with Luke Evans was badass though. Like after I finished it, it was great.
After you hit the ending,
Yeah.
they're trying to set that up. That was the Monster Universe, the same one with Tom Cruise in it. That was supposed to be the first one of like their Avengers, and all the monsters come together to save the world. They're gonna have Wolfman with Benicio del Toro. You're gonna have the Invisible Man. They're trying to do all this stuff, and then it just
Invisible Man. Is that the new one?
no. Well, that is, but that's Blumhouse.
That's some great shit.
That's like with Elizabeth Moss.
Everything else that you mentioned, dog shit.
And you know why we're not seeing a Monster Mash movie? Because you're right.
Transylvania 6 5000.
Why are you just reading things if you don't know what they mean?
That's apparently a movie. Your wife's going to show you that movie.
It sounds like a car.
Well, it sounds like something you're watching without me.
Transylvania 65,000. I'm not
I don't
watching any
have-
vampire movies.
I don't have
for
to
a
watch
while.
any vampire movies over this. I'm done.
I know.
We're moving on to DC.
Oh yeah, next week, this Friday, a special episode on Friday. We're going to be shooting a Women of DC Comics episode, talking about
shout
some
out to
favorites.
women there. We
Yeah, a little
like you
empowerment.
guys.
And
You
the
women.
real superheroes are moms.
Jeff Goldblum.
Stop reading things you're saying.
I can't. They're comments. I have to. Yes.
Jeff Goldblum's not a vampire. Also, I asked you this before.
Dracula 2000. No. Just no. 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 No.
Some act.
No.
The best part about being a vampire is you never die, right?
Okay. I mean, you do if you get a filet mignon thrown at you.
You don't. That's the wrong kind of steak. So, which
Well, one kind of steak
actors?
in my book.
Which actors would you like to see play vampires because they never age? You could have like
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is a great
Paul
one.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd's a great one.
Hey, that one? Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
I actually really.
How about Mila Jovovich? She's
yeah,
doing pretty good.
Good actresses.
That's harsh. You're gonna make some enemies. Halle Berry. I mean, there are some actors and
I like
actresses
Halle
that do not age for some reason, and then some, like Axl Rose, age pretty bad.
He did.
You're like, hey, do you think he's a vampire? You're like, no.
I want to see Bill Murray as a vampire.
Yeah, Bill Murray is a vampire. That might be hilarious.
It will be. It's Bill Murray.
I can't remember. Someone wanted Bill Murray to play a vampire for some role that's like way not good for him.
Garfield, Dead in the City.
All right, guys. I think that's good right there.
We got Michelle Rodriguez as a vampire. Halle Berry, Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy would be a great vampire.
Right? Because then he could just shoot porn forever.
God, my wish.
All right. Ron Jeremy.
You should have let us in on the Garfield Dead in the City.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going
You
to
wanted
ignore
to-
the fans.
You wanted to read a Ron Jeremy joke.
Ron Jeremy, I thought was funny. Ron Jeremy. This guy's the same guy who's saying Mortal Instruments is the most underrated movie ever.
Yeah, I don't know.
He wants Ron Jeremy
I'm
to
sorry.
be
Yeah.
his vampire.
You're losing your cred, man.
Ah.
You're down points.
Damn, dude.
All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap us up for our vampire episode. This Friday, we're doing a Women of DC
Yes, we
comics. I'm excited.
You hear that, Eames? We're doing it.
We're trying to get our special guest back. Hopefully, he can come back.
If not,
Super
we're doing
knowledgeable
without
on
him.
nerdy stuff. I mean, it might be better.
Without him? Most likely.
But Jordan, you are cordially invited to come on the podcast because I have to invite him or he won't come.
Oh, he's a vampire too? God, that's why he always looks so boyish.
So boyish.
All right, guys. Thank you all. We appreciate everybody commenting, all the comments. I said that.
Yeah, man, I love it. Do that 1-2 thing for us if you guys are watching a replay or not, so we know how best to interact with you guys.
We're just trying to make this better for you.
I mean, that's what we do.
All right.
And like, subscribe, 5-star review. Where can they listen to us at?
Everywhere, but mainly Facebook.
Facebook, we always do the live episodes. On Spotify, you can hear us.
Yeah, we got
iTunes,
on YouTube.
YouTube.
We're everywhere. Just always
Or just come over. We'll
5
watch.
stars.
We'll watch some vampire movies.
We'll do this episode right in front of you.
Oh, live studio audience?
That's right. You have to laugh at everything.
Ooh.
Non-stop laughing.
Just hear the first time you hear booze on a podcast.
Well, we always hear booze on a podcast.
You know what? And that's what we're in this
There's
one.
actual drinking.
Hey.
So.
Cheers, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.